I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is War. And the reason why I'm thinking that war is imminent right now is because the planet of war, Mars, which rules not only war, but it rules passion, aggression, jealousy, greed, certainly being very forceful. And it is at the 29th degree of fate in the fixed financial sign Scorpio, which rules war as well. And Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. And Scorpio, because it's a fixed financial sign, it rules credit, debt, loans, inheritance, taxes, money coming in from any other source. So I think that a war is imminent right now, and it will be based on greed. Or it will simply be that somebody wants what someone else has, and they are going to go after it. And so this can be an extremely dangerous time, not just next week, but for the next 2 months in particular. And that is because that Mars at 29 degrees of Scorpio is going to change, and it will go into Sagittarius and join another malefic planet there, Saturn. And that will create its own dynamic set of problems, particularly it could generate forceful attacks. And so this idea of war is something that we are going to have to be prepared for. And one way to be prepared for it is for every single one of us to think a little bit more defensively. In other words, just be on the defense for the next couple of months. And that means guard yourself, guard your loved ones, and don't assume anything for the next few months. And the reason why is that Mars at 29 degrees of Scorpio, as I said, a fixed financial sign indicating war, because it's at the degree of fate, is exactly squaring the 29th degree of Leo, another fixed sign, but that 29th degree is where the fixed royal star Regulus is in the heavens. And because Mars is squaring it, and Leo does rule royalty, and it rules children and sports and the entertainment field as well, and being an entrepreneur and gambling and taking risks, there is the possibility if someone has taken too much of a risk or too much of a gamble, they could be feeling real broke right about now, and that would be their reason to go to war. So it can be that people who have sort of gambled it all are on the verge of losing it all, and that is why they have nothing to lose by waging war as well. On top of that, Mars in Scorpio is opposing the 29th degree of Taurus, the other fixed financial sign. And the 29th degree is the degree of fate in any sign, and that is because it's the last degree in the sign. There's no more room to move, so there's no way to negotiate. It's sort of like, this is it. And since Mars is opposing the 29th degree of Taurus, where there is a blind star, that simply means that financially, a lot of people, and these could be people in countries or in large institutions, or it could just be people who have been overdoing it, have miscalculated. And now it is a time when they have been a little bit blind to some sort of financial situation that is really pretty serious and is going to create problems for them. So it's all financially motivated, and whereas some people may want to turn around and face the problem and try to deal with it, which would be a good idea because it's not going to go away, other people feel that they're on the brink of losing everything, so why not just grab something of someone else's? That's why I'm urging you to be on the defense now. And that means, you know, be real careful with your belongings and with anyone that you really love. Guard your relationships as well. Cooler heads do prevail right now, though, and that is because The moon today is in Capricorn, and it is joining Pluto there, which is Scorpio's other ruler. And those two planets are trining Jupiter in Virgo. And so that simply means that there are people around, despite whatever sudden changes can occur, and these people are taking sort of a long-term view about stability and security. And they want to look over the facts and the details. They want to be sure and establish trust in anything that they do, or they want to clean up institutions so that they can become trustworthy. And so that's good, because in other words, institutions or people at the top who can engender trust in all of us, they are the people that can carry us forward, either during a period of strife such as war, or after a period of strife when we sort of need to rebuild. So these people have got a good long view of things, and they may be looking to cut budgets right now in order to stay stable and secure, and that's a different kind of financial problem. But people are looking at all kinds of ways to solve financial problems right now. And there isn't a moment to lose, and the reason why is that on Sunday, Mars will change and it will go into Sagittarius. There are three malefic planets: Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. A malefic planet is one that could get you in trouble because it doesn't bring out the best in people or in situations. And so what we are seeing throughout the month of March and in April, we are seeing all three malefic planets in a trine to each other in fire signs. And that simply means something's going to burn up. And that is because Mars in Sagittarius on Sunday, where it will go, is going to join Saturn in Sagittarius, and those two planets will be trining Uranus in Aries. Uranus is the planet of sudden surprising change. It rules cyber warfare. It rules things ahead of their time. It rules anything going through the air. And so another way for you to guard yourself and be on the defense is to make sure that all of your private information that is online is protected in one way or another, because there could be a lot of hacking going on in the next 2 months as well. There's really nothing stopping people who want to do wrong or want to be very evil, with all three malefic planets trining each other in fire signs. The biggest problem is that Mars and Saturn are in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the whole Middle East, but in particular, it rules the country of Saudi Arabia. And as I said before, right now, Mars at 29 degrees of Scorpio is squaring the fateful 29th degree of Leo, where the fixed royal star Regulus is. So what I think is that there can be someone around right now that is going to be involved in a war. And what I think is that there is the possibility that a king may go to war with someone who wants to be a king, or wants to make sure that people obey them very strictly. And so there may be a real clash now between the old and the new, or between people that are so broke they have no compunction at all about attacking those who have assets in order to grab them. And so this is a time when we are going to have to be extremely careful. Another way that you can do that is be on your guard for anything that is coming at you too fast. Remember, Uranus is the planet of sudden change. Mars is the planet of aggression. They're trining each other from Sunday on for about 2 months. And then Saturn can be a planet of obstruction or delay. And so anything is possible, and this could include natural disasters as well. So I want you to be real careful and don't assume that the world is just going on just fine right now. I don't think it is, because a lot of people have come to the end of their rope where money is concerned. I mean, you can only be in so much debt. And so matters have to be addressed. And this could be countries. This could involve rulers of countries that are really broke. And so, you know, they could do sort of wild things, so we need to be careful. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think what it means is that you can be involved in something that is a little bit new, ahead of its time. And the problem is, and that could intrigue you, but the problem is, and this will be from next week on, for about 2 months, but particularly in the month of March, since Uranus in your sign, which does rule new things, is going to be trining both Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius, you are going to have to take orders from people who want things done exactly their way. Now, it's fortunate for you that Mars is the ruler of your sign, and now it will be trining your sign. That could help you out a little bit, Aries. But you're still going to have to take orders from other people who will want somewhat painstaking obedience. That might cramp your style, Aries, but there may be no other way for you to handle some sort of new skill that you need to attain, perhaps for your job or for some future effort that you are dreaming about. And so I think that you're going to be involved in things that happen pretty fast, some of which can be very surprising. And you're going to have to toe the line, Aries. If you don't want to toe the line, you will be able to make a swift change successfully. In other words, if you just one day you throw up your hands and you say, I've had it, don't worry, you're going to be able to get on to something else really quickly. So it's up to you whether you want to go or stay. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when I think you can be certainly in agreement with people who are taking the long view of how to make sure that people's jobs are secure, or that there is financial stability for a long time to come. And that is because there are 3 planets trining your sun sign, Taurus, and that is the Moon and Pluto today in Capricorn, which are trining your sun, and Jupiter in Virgo is also trining your sun. But at the same time, the greater danger is coming from the fact that Mars in Scorpio is at 29 degrees now, and it is exactly opposing the 29th degree in your sign, which is where there is a blind star. And so that is an indication, Taurus, that you really have you've either chosen not to look at a financial situation that is really going to cause you pain now, or else you have avoided some sort of information, particularly financial information, that could sort of catch up with you right now. So I don't know what it is, but there is some possibility that you are going to be involved in a financial matter that I do not think is going to come out the way you want it to, Taurus. But you know, I would just pay up and get over it, because you personally are not being threatened. It is just something that I think you need to handle. And the sooner you do it, the better, because it could prevent your future progress if you don't. That's why you should get rid of it. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is simply a time when I think that you can have visions of wonderful plans for your future, because Venus and Mercury, your own ruler, are in Aquarius, trining your sun, and that's great. But actually, Gemini, I am here to warn you, and I will do this steadfastly for the next 2 months, that you are in grave danger. And that is because you're going to be facing a lot of challenges, more than you have in the past. And you've been facing challenges for a while, because Jupiter is squaring your sun, the Sun and Neptune are squaring your sun, and as of Sunday, both Mars and Saturn will be opposing your sun sign. Those are the 2 that are going to give you the problems, because they're malefic planets. And that simply means that there can be people with old grudges that want to settle them, or there can be people that are very greedy and might want something you've got, Gemini, or they can be very jealous, and they could continually try to engage you or attack you, particularly in March and April. And what you need to do is step back. Stay away. Do not acknowledge them, because the minute you acknowledge them, they've won, because they've taken you away from what you want to be doing. So just remember, keep your eyes on your future, Gemini. That is so much better than engaging in challenges that are sort of beneath you right now. So do try to avoid them. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, This is a good time for you. In fact, I think it is a time of culmination, and the reason why is that Mars at 29 degrees of Scorpio is trining your sun sign, and the Sun and Neptune, which are conjuncting today in Pisces, are also trining your sun sign. And so I think that you have finally reached a point, Cancer, where you do have the money coming in, and it's secure, it's going to stay there. So you do have the money or the assets to finally make a dream come true, and it's something that you would really like, that you have always thought you wanted to do. It may not have anything to do with making money. It might be some sort of charitable project that you want to create or to work on. Or it might be that you want to write a book or do some service for others. But whatever it is, yes, you can afford to do it, Cancer. So if I were you, I think that you can be very pleased with your financial situation right now. And I don't mean, I'm not talking about being rich or poor. I'm talking about knowing that you've got the bases, your bases covered. And I think you do. And so this is the time for you to go for your dream, Cancer. And you may as well, because I think there are going to be some real sudden and shocking surprises in the next 2 months. And we are going to have to react quickly to whatever is going on. And so try to go for your dream if you can, while you can. All right, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time when you cannot afford to move a muscle. And the reason why is that Mars is at 29 degrees of Scorpio, exactly square the 29th degree in your sign, which is a fixed sign as well. And that means that if you have been gambling with anything, you could lose big right now. And if you are in any kind of debt or you owe extra taxes, you got to pay them as quickly as you can, because there could be additional penalties that could be prohibitive. And that's why you need to settle things as soon as you can. Even if you can only pay a little bit at a time, it means you've got your heart in the right place, and that could keep your creditors at bay. Venus and Mercury in Aquarius are opposing your sun sign, which means somebody else in your life is going to be going on their way because they've got other future plans that may not include you. It doesn't mean they might not be back, but it does mean they're sort of planning on going a different way right now. And so I think that that's going to be okay. But the reason why you can't move a muscle is because you are about to be very, very busy. And that is because for the next 2 months, Leo, Uranus in Aries is going to be trining your sun, and Mars and Sagittarius, as of Sunday, will also be trining your sun. This is what you might call double trouble, because it's all 3 malefic planets from the other 2 fire signs pouring all of their somewhat evil energy into your sign. You could get in a lot of trouble. Or if war does break out and you are somehow affected in one way or another, it simply would allow you to move very, very quickly if you had to. And you might have to. I'm pretty sure you're going to be traveling or responding real quickly to things. You will do magnificently well, by the way, but you're going to be real, real busy. It's just for right now, I don't think you can afford to move a muscle until some financial situation gets talked about or squared away in one way or another. Just be cautious about that. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think you need to put on a little extra suit of armor, and that's for the next 2 months while Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius are squaring your sun. Saturn has been squaring your sun for a while, but now Mars is going to be squaring your sun, and that means a lot of people are going to be coming at you, Virgo, and nitpicking and agitating you and sort of bothering you. And it could be that you will have too much work to do. You know, what if somebody gets sick and you have to do their job and yours? That could happen. And at the same time, the Sun and Neptune in Pisces are opposing your sun sign, so not everyone's telling you the truth, Virgo, and you may not know who to believe. Particularly be very careful about people who are saying, oh, poor me, everything's going wrong right now. You need to check that out first, Virgo, and make sure that it isn't just a sad tale of woe it isn't just an excuse of some kind, because it could be. So this is simply a time with the moon and Pluto in Capricorn trining your sun today, when you can be rather pleased with the way your figures are turning out, but you are about to be challenged needlessly. In other words, people don't have to do it, they're just going to do it. And your irritation level could go up in the next 2 months, and I don't think there's anything you can do about it except practice some way to stay calm, Virgo, because you're going to need to just try to be as calm as you can. Try to withdraw a little bit. Have a little more solitude. That'll help you out. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is simply a time when I think that you can be somewhat protected by the fact that Venus, your own ruler, and Mercury in Aquarius are trining your sun, which is good. But I need to warn you about sudden things happening right out of the blue. They may be happening to other people in the next 2 months more than they're happening to you, but you could be suffering some sort of residual effect from that, particularly if it means people making sudden changes. And the reason why is that, yes, Uranus in Aries is opposing your sun sign, but once that planet gets both Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius by Sunday, trining it, it'll strengthen Uranus, and then Uranus's opposition to your sun sign is going to be what you might call a little more lethal. And so you need to prepare for the unexpected, Libra. I don't know how you can do that, except once again, try to be on the defense for the next 2 months. Do not think that it's business as usual. It is not. And someone is going to be attacked forcefully. And I think that it's going to involve, of course, the element of fire, since these 3 bad planets are all in fire signs in very good aspect. Nothing's stopping them. So you need to be extra cautious and careful if you can, Libra. Don't take any chances. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, Mars is at the 29th degree in your sign today, and that simply means you really mean business. Now, I hope that you are extremely serious about something that is for the uplift of mankind, or is simply going to help you in a way that is very productive. That would be wonderful, and it may result in the culmination of a long plan that you have had, and maybe now you have finally reached your goal. That would be great. And if your goal is to allow you to have the time to do something charitable for others, then that's wonderful. That's going in the right direction. But if, on the other hand, you have decided on a plan of attack because you are jealous of somebody, or you're really broke, or you've gambled too much on something and you feel you have nothing to lose, then I will tell you one thing. You could win right now. I mean, if somebody's going to attack, I think they're going to be successful. It doesn't mean they win in the end, but I think they're going to be successful on a first attack. But the problem is that Venus is in Aquarius, and it is squaring your sun sign, Scorpio, and Venus rules love and our loved ones. And so if you do anything mean or underhanded or based on greed or jealousy, you are going to lose love. It'll leave. And that's something money can't buy, Scorpio. So I advise you to think things over real carefully right now. All right, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, you are about to become bowled over for the next 2 months by things that could be out of your control. That happened very suddenly since Uranus is trining your sun sign, but I think you're a little used to that now, Sagittarius, because that planet's been trining your sun sign for years. However, now that Mars is coming into your sun sign on Sunday and will stay there throughout March and April, it is going to stir you up. It's going to make you angry. It's going to make you want to move too quickly. It may make you a little bit impatient and reckless. And I'm telling you, Sagittarius, if you move too fast in the next 2 months and you start making mistakes, which is certainly possible, you will really regret it. So believe it or not, even with Mars in your sun sign for the next 2 months, you need to slow down and think twice about everything before you do it, because you could end up getting in much more trouble than you think. And that's why you need to think not just about what you want, but think about the consequences. And if those consequences are a little bit risky or could hurt you in any way, then I would step back if I were you, Sagittarius. for safety's sake. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, today the Moon and Pluto are in your sign, and they are trining Jupiter in Virgo, which means it might be you that is making some long-term plans, and you may be deciding to cut budgets a little bit simply to make your money last longer and to increase your stability and security. Excellent idea, Capricorn. And that is because the world is about to become a sort of a shaky place. And we are not going to know what's hitting us until it's already hit us. I mean, there's not going to be a warning. That Uranus is a planet of sudden change. It just comes straight out of nowhere. And so this is, and it squares your sun, Capricorn. This is a time when you really do need to make sure you have everything safeguarded. Everyone should be thinking of safeguarding their assets and safeguarding their loved ones and being on the defense. So I hope that you really sort of ratchet that up, Capricorn. That is the most important thing. Safety first for the next 2 months. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is simply a time with Venus and Mercury in your sign when you can be sort of happy about the future. Maybe it's looking pretty rosy for you because Venus is a great planet. And you can be feeling like communicating a lot, maybe enlarging your sphere as well. However, it's going to be pretty hard for you to get what you want right now, and that is because Mars in Scorpio is exactly squaring your sign, and it is squaring the 29th degree in Leo, and it is opposing the 29th degree in Taurus. There can be a financial matter right now, Aquarius, that no matter what you do, it's not going to change. Not at the moment. It might change in the future, but not now. And I think it's because of a matter that is out of your control. And for that reason, you could be thinking the future is really rosy right now. Hold the thought, Aquarius, because I do not think the money's going to come your way at the moment. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you can, you really need to be on the up and up, because there can be people that want to lead you down the garden path, and by that, it means that they want to use you for their own purposes, and their purposes are money. They want to make money off you, Pisces, and it can be that they're very greedy, or it can be that they are jealous of you in one way or another, and if they're jealous of you, they wouldn't mind destroying something that you like, or if they are greedy, they wouldn't mind taking some of your assets or your money. And so it's war. And you know, it can be coming from people that say they're your best friends, but they're not. And that's because they're coming from a different place than you are. You might end up being more secure than they are, and that's why they're after you. And so Pisces, you need to retreat right now and protect yourself. You are vulnerable right now, and that is because nobody realizes the dangers that we are about to be exposed to when these 3 planets by Sunday, which are malefic planets, trine each other for 2 months. And so you need to get away from anything that has even the least appearance of danger or anything that is threatening. Just stay by yourself, Pisces. At least you'd be safe. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.